Hello AP Biology students, let's go over the 13th section in Unit 7. And in this section, we're going to continue our talks about taxonomy by talking about the three-domain system. This is a pretty short section in the whole unit where we're just going to kind of focus on the three domains of life. Remember, we're talking about taxonomy and how we classify species into different groups. And the most broad or the least specific group is a domain. Each major domain has characteristics that are going to classify species to be in one of these three groups. And like we talked about before, all of these domains of life evolved from Luca, our last universal common ancestor. These three domains are bacteria, archaea, and eukarya. I'm going to go in depth a little bit about each, but I think it's just a good rule of thumb for biologists or anyone that passes like an AP biology class to kind of know these three domains of life. The first domain of life is bacteria, and these are single-celled prokaryotic organisms that are microscopic. This just basically means they're single-celled, they don't have a nucleus, and they're really small. One specific difference between bacteria and archaea is that bacteria cells wall contain a chemical known as peptidoglycan. We don't need to go into specifics of peptidoglycan, but this is just a really good way of classifying species as being bacteria or archaea. There are other classifications that separate these two domains, but that's one of the easier ones. Now, something I like to cover when we talk about bacteria is the fact that not all bacteria are harmful. We think of bacteria as being harmful because of maybe like the commercials we watch, or when we see like hand sanitizer says kills 99.9% of all bacteria. But understand that we need bacteria. Bacteria are, or at least some bacteria, are beneficial to all life on Earth. There is bacteria inside you helping you break down your food, and without that bacteria, it would be really difficult to survive. Now, there are strains of bacteria that are deadly and can kill, but I think it's just important again to realize that not all bacteria is bad. Our next domain is archaea, and these are single-celled prokaryotic organisms that are microscopic. So they would sound like they would be evolutionary closer to bacteria than eukarya, but actually the DNA says that they're more close related to us or eukaryotes than the bacteria. Again, their cells walls don't contain that chemical called peptidoglycan. And a lot of times these archaea can live in extreme environments, but they're also found in soils, ponds, oceans. Interesting fact, I don't have on record that any archaea actually hurt humans. Unless somebody tells me differently, that's what I'm going to go with. Lastly is our domain. This is kind of like my favorite domain because this is the most diverse or the just really most interesting group in my opinion. But these organisms are typically multicellular while some can be unicellular. These organisms contain membrane-bound organelles such as like the nucleus, and sexual reproduction is common, but it's not a overarching property for all of them. Now, in this domain, we have four major kingdoms, which are the protists, the plants, the fungi, and the animalia. And I have to end this with a meme. I love hanging out with my friend Mushroom. He's such a fun guy. Get it? Like fun. Okay, bad joke, bad joke.